Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another MiceChat Live on a very hot day here in Anaheim. It is summertime and the crowds today are gigantic. We're going to show you everything that's going on here. Why is it so busy today? Well, it is a holiday. It's Juneteenth and a lot of people have a 4-day weekend. And Mike, it has been nuts.
It is.
But we are going to show you all sorts of cool things though today. Some progress at Pixie Hollow, construction on Matterhorn, and we'll walk through the park, see what the crowds look like. We will see where we go. But I do have to say that right now it is starting to cool down. We may look sweaty, but we are comfortable at the moment. We were sitting over in Fantasy Fair Village to get a little bit of shade before the live, and it cooled way down between the time we went in there and now. So we're right around probably 75 degrees or so. We can handle that. Mike lives in the desert, so do I. So we can handle a little bit of heat. Hello, everybody, and hello, Teresa and Amber and Ando and all of you watching. We really appreciate it. Try to drop some comments during the video today. We'll do our best to answer. Sometimes we're talking and walking and we don't see the comments, but today we're really going to try. I'm turning this around so you can see where we are. We are in a little shaded spot. There's some construction in Tomorrowland ahead of you. And the fountains here.
Which are running.
They're running.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it looks really nice. In fact, we're going to walk all the way around and take a look at this. This was all behind construction walls for the last few weeks. They had been behind construction walls before. Construction walls came down, revealed the lagoon, which looked beautiful, but we noticed almost immediately the paint was peeling off the bottom of this lagoon. So the walls went back up, they repainted it all. But here's the sad news. Although it looks like there's a line of people back there, that line is for Buzz Lightyear. It is not for Tinkerbell. Tinkerbell meet and greet is still closed. But Mike noticed some enhancements over there.
Yeah.
So we'll take a look at them.
Returning.
Construction ahead at the Matterhorn. We'll see that a little closer in just a minute. I mentioned Teresa's name while we're walking over. I'll just mention Teresa's planning a few big MiceChat trips right now, including a MiceChat October trip to Orlando. We'll do the new Epic Universe. We'll stay a few days at Universal, and then we'll move over to Disney World and do Mickey's Not So Scary, Food and Wine Festival. Folks, do not miss this trip. If you've been wanting to go to Orlando, you want to see the new Universal Park, we've got the ultimate way to do it. Contact Teresa at fairygodmothertravel.com. Teresa at fairygodmothertravel.com. And Mike, tell us what we are seeing over here.
Yeah. So the waterfalls turned back on. And even though like the ship and the homes have been here for a while, they've actually returned some of the ferries. There's one up on the rock, then there's the fish. I am horrible with these ferries' names. I don't remember them.
Don't even try, Mike.
I will not.
Give me 1 minute. I'm going to zoom in. We lose the audio. We're seeing a fish on the screen right now. There's a little bronze fish. And then we go up, we see the ferry that's looking down on the fish. And then if we walk around the corner just a little bit, in this cave, you can kind of see in the shadows there, another little ferry. And is that a dragonfly or something above her?
It's a little bee or maybe a lightning bug.
And we're zoomed back out. And then the other little ferry house is here. That boat, I'm going to use a name, and I shouldn't because I don't really know their names. I think that's Terrence. But it doesn't matter what their names are because the fairy friends are no more. Disney doesn't do anything with Tinkerbell and her fairy friends. It's just Tinkerbell now. So she's the only one that matters, so that her other friends are here is nice, but most kids today probably won't even know who they are. It's what's behind on the blue wall back there that matters. That's the Tinkerbell meet and greet. It's not looking great.
Not yet.
It's supposed to open next month?
Yeah, they've got a lot of work to do before they can do that.
I think so, and it's been down since last year. I don't know what's taking so long and why this has all been delayed, but Tinkerbell's meet and greet in the back is looking dingy, unpainted. All those leaves of grass also unpainted. The flower bells that have lights also unpainted. So all this stuff on this side of the construction wall looks fantastic, but Tinkerbell's meet and greet does not. So it makes me question whether or not they'll be done on time.
It's going to be a lot of work. I mean, they're going to get up there with pressure washers, clean it all up, re-prep it, paint it all. And that's if they decide they're going to have the budget to do that.
Mike, these lines today are insane. This is the line for Buzz Lightyear. It snakes all the way back towards the Tinkerbell meet and greet.
It does.
But they can't see in there because there's a construction wall. You see a lot of folks hitting into railings and things because it all looks like it's open, but it is not.
It's not.
That line is somewhere else. You have to go to Tomorrowland to get there.
I think Buzz was like 30 minutes. It's been averaging 30 to 40 minutes today, which is kind of long for Buzz Lightyear.
The lines have been weird. Space Mountain has been hovering around 75 minutes all day.
Which isn't the worst.
When we got here, it was only 95 minutes for Rise of the Resistance.
Mm-hmm.
When we checked just before the live, it was 50 minutes, so under an hour. But the Tiana's Bayou Adventure line was 110 minutes.
Yeah.
So everybody wants a water ride right now.
And fortunately, even though it's hot for us today, it's not quite as hot as it was yesterday, from my understanding. It's cooling off just a touch, but I think it's going to warm back up for the weekend. So,
well, we're headed into summer. Our hottest days here in Anaheim are September.
Right, and I mean
August
90,
and September.
103.
Yep.
And part of the problem with Anaheim is it does get humid here.
But it also gets chilly at night. So although we were sweating earlier, it's already starting to cool down. In fact, here in the shade, I even feel a little bit of a chill.
Oh, yeah.
So it quickly cools down in the evenings. You need to be dressed for the desert during the day and the beach at night because the temperatures fluctuate. What we're seeing is a lot of scrim all the way around Matterhorn. Almost all of it in front of waterfalls.
Yes.
So the water features are all being worked on this ride. Another long refurbishment. For those of you with eagle eyes, you see some red flags and cones and some scaffolding down below. Some of the rocks are even clearly recently redone. They haven't been repainted yet, so there's some gray rocks on top of the more orangey and darker gray rocks. So some of them have been colored in, others have not. It looks like fresh concrete or whatever that
My
substance
hope is. That
is.
see the waterfalls, all of them working at the same time in the near future.
Well, they'll work it first.
They will. I just remember that ever since the parks have reopened, I have yet to see all the waterfalls on at one time. It's like we'll see half the waterfalls on one day, the other half on the next day. I would love to see that fixed.
We're headed through one of my favorite areas. It's easy to walk down the parade route. There's the monorail going by there. In the shadows, the trees, you see the monorail. Call this one Monorail Mickey because it still has the Mickey, what do you call those, wraps?
Yeah, the wraps. Yeah.
But this spot is one of my faves. You've got Matterhorn on one side, and the other you have Alice in Wonderland. And it comes right up to the parade route, so you can see the vehicles going right into the building here. I don't think there's anywhere else you get this close to an attraction. Like you could practically touch that.
Oh, we can high five the people as they go by.
For sure. I mean, it almost seems unsafe with this low railing. Like it'd be easy for a dad to put their kid there to take a picture and get hit by a vehicle. It's one of those spots that you know that soon the lawyers will come through and ruin it for everybody, even though it's been this way for decades.
My question is, when this ride first opened up, were these rails here?
Well, when the ride first opened up, I'm not even sure the whole trail was here.
Yeah.
But a lot has changed on the outdoor section of this ride since it opened.
Well, I think this used to be a ticket booth, didn't it?
This used to be the ticket booth. And up there where you see the Caterpillar going back and forth, that whole platform has been made at least 3 times bigger than it used to be. It used to barely fit the vehicle as it went down. You felt like you were going to fall off at every turn. Now there are huge envelopes where you could walk down the track, and they actually have a railing that pops up. If the ride stops, the railings pop up so you can safely walk down without falling.
So I'm sure it's a DOS requirement.
It is, in fact, gosh, I don't know how many years it's been now, but the ride went down. Two cast members started walking up that thin track, which is a falling hazard.
Yep.
And OSHA or DOSH just happened to be here and see it.
Oh, I bet they lost their minds.
Instantly shut the ride down, and it didn't reopen again for months and months. They had to put scaffolding all around. For years it looked horrible with scaffolding up to protect you on that outdoor section, and finally they came up with a permanent fix, which is what we see now.
I think the railings popping up like that is a good solution.
Amber, it's not so much the water restrictions that keep them from running the waterfalls, because there are many parks that use lots and lots of water in the area, including Disneyland. Think of Grizzly River Run over at California Adventure. The issue is usually wind. So when it gets windy, they shut waterfalls off so it doesn't blow into the face of the riders or create an unsafe situation for the braking system, but also because it's an old attraction and there's a lot of old pumps and things, it just breaks down a lot. And they seem to have trouble with water features at Disneyland. In fact, there's a brand new one that they just built in Adventureland that's still not working, and that's in front of the men's restroom. We'll see it in a little bit, maybe.
Hopefully.
Last week we started on Casey Jr., which goes through this area, and we started there because there's some new permits for some features that they intend to build. You see the boats floating by. They are going through this charming area. So we think there's a new scene that they're going to build when this ride goes down later in July. Monstro.
Skull Rock leftovers.
Little tiny bit of Skull Rock right over here.
Oh, and the fountain's actually running. I haven't seen this run in a long time.
We're not going to ride Dumbo. Mike and Suzanne did that.
Yeah, in the pouring rain, and we loved it.
Yeah, it's harder to see these rocks now that they built the covered queue, but just a little bit of water running, very little bit.
You know
just
what?
a trickle, really.
This is giving me flashbacks of the old Adventureland waterfall before the pipe burst. So, should we knock on wood?
Knock on metal?
Knock on metal? But we don't want to knock too hard because we don't want the tiles to come off.
Janice over on YouTube is saying hello.
Hello.
And we're glad to have you. And there are so many changes right now in the parks, even though it's the middle of summer. A lot of it construction related, a lot of it in preparation for Disneyland's 70th coming up. But Mike, we are standing in front of one of those changes that's not positive.
Right.
Last week, as I was getting ready for the live, we saw a stretcher running through over here to Mr. Toad. Sure enough, there was a guest on the ground covered in blood, which we did not show on the live. It happened just before the live. They cleared out the queue, and it turns out that a tile fell off the roof right over here, landing on a guest in the queue that you see right now is packed with people. That same situation. They quickly reopened the ride simply by moving the queue outside of its normal bounds. So it ran out here where we're standing instead of in there where you see all the people switch back. I'm going to zoom in. Let's see if we can see those spots.
Yeah, there's a couple of them.
You see a couple of missing tiles there. Kind of darker sections, a couple of tiles. Only one was missing the other day. So they clearly went through later and found other loose tiles and removed them. Now, why have they reopened the queue? Because see all this wood at the bottom there that doesn't quite match anything else, it doesn't quite fit. If a tile should slide down, they think that wood would stop the tile from flopping out and hitting you in the head and causing great damage. I mean, and those tiles would be heavy, wouldn't they, Mike?
They're pretty heavy. They're the slate tiles, and I mean, if you think about it, they slide pretty easy. So I mean, there's nothing really stopping them besides those wood boards. Now, I guess it's better to be safe than have injuries.
They also removed some tiles from the cone-shaped portion of the roof over here. Similar situation. I'm sure they went through looking for loose tiles. They also installed a little bit, or there was already a little bit of a cornice there to kind of protect people from the falling tiles. And people aren't really queued up here.
That looks new, and the joints are painted.
Huh. Interesting. It's one of my favorite attractions. It is probably an endangered attraction, and not because of the tile roof.
No.
endangered because it went away many years ago at Walt Disney World. It's from a story that not everybody knows, a wonderful film that Disney did, I think back in the 40s. It had a Mr. Toad section and a Headless Horseman section. So Ichabod and Mr. Toad, it's basically two short films strung together. I always loved it as a kid, not so much for the scary Headless Horseman section, which is now my favorite, but for the very whimsical Mr. Toad section where he drives his motor coach recklessly through town and endangers himself and others, but it's a charming story. In the ride, you go to hell, and I think it may be the only place in the Disney parks where you end up in hell. Long waits everywhere, lots of people.
I was say, unless you're standing in line for Rise of Resistance and it's 3 hours long, then you might be in hell there too. But
Did it feel like earlier today when we came through here, it was much more crowded? I remember us standing there getting a picture of the crowds in front of this archway and it being so many people.
Way more crowded.
We almost got knocked over just trying to take a photo. Right now it's a lot clearer. I don't know if people just got hot and finally went home or if they're getting ready for other things or having dinner or what they're doing. I don't know. Walkway through Frontierland. We looked at this last week, and when it was first installed, very charming. If you're wearing a magic band, you just tap and something magical happens. Mike hit the pink one. It will open up Snow White. Is that enough reason to buy a magic band? You tell us. Very nice, very well done. They installed another one of those tap points, Mike, finally in Tomorrowland.
oh yes,
We took some video of that, shared it in our Monday update. And yeah, and all it does is make some chugga chugga noises, so it sounds like a car's driving by.
I'd say it almost felt, I just saw the video of it and I was a bit disappointed.
Yeah, like Suzanne, when she sent it to me, said, don't bother. And she had to wait in a long line, and there are 3 different tap points, red, yellow, and green, like a stoplight. Each one just makes a different sound. No bubbles, no lights, no free ticket, souvenir, just...
I would think that it would pop out like maybe take a surprise picture of you and print you a driver's license.
Or if something was behind it and moved, like those wonderful windows, you know, any kind of animation, anything.
Like those Chevron cars.
Yeah. Right, if there was like a racetrack kind of thing behind it and little cars went by.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
Also earlier today, the line for the Royal Hall was stretched all the way through the queue and down the bridge. You see the queue still set up, but right now it's all contained within it. It may just be because they have it closed off already, I think, for the evening, and you have to already be in queue to see the princesses. Eric, have you ever seen this?
I haven't seen this one.
Okay, turn that little crank down there. Eric is going to turn the crank. The adorable Eric Lowe. Keep going. Thank you, Eric. What did you think of that?
I thought it was very fun.
So what's that you're wearing around your neck? Is it a neck brace?
It's a fan. It's a neck fan. You can get your very own at Costco, 2 for just $40.
Here we got a deal, a package deal, 2 beautiful neck fans
Yes.
for like $40.
I thought it was very inconspicuous,
well,
but
these
apparently it stands out.
These are nice ones. There are those huge ones that they used to have, but these are like 16 hours of battery time. Yep, I can feel the fan blowing on me even, you know, from this distance.
And Mike just taught me a new hack that if you get the cooling towel as well and put it on here, it's like your own personal air conditioner.
I like that. As the days get warmer, that's something you'll need to know. Here's one of those spots where you put the key in and the bubbles blow out. Of course, you don't have to do that, Mike, because every child at Disneyland apparently also has bubbles.
They want the adults to enjoy the big bubbles. These are giant bubble ones.
This is where we were sitting earlier. Hello. How are you, my darling? On this hot day.
It is a very hot day.
Muggy.
Gotta find the shade.
The shade was definitely a huge relief today. I think we
Are
stopped
there
at-
any good things here? Like, look at this giant cookie croissant.
I've always wanted to try the ham and cheese croissant.
I was here with Ondo the other day, and after the live, he came running over here to grab one for he and Jeffrey on their long drive back home. They also have the, is it the cheesy garlic pretzel?
Yeah.
But they don't do the one with the sausage here. You have to go to over by Matterhorn for that one.
Right. This is the cheesy garlic pretzel bread. They have the ham.
Gosh, that huge cookie croissant.
Yeah.
Oh, everything about that sounds like it would be horrible for me. Can't wait to
just
try
like
it.
Becoming a diabetic just looking at it.
Oh, Mike. Oh, Zembic.
This shade. And when the wind comes through, it makes all the difference in the world for here, like a little breeze.
Natalie is correct. It's Edelweiss, the little snack stand over by the motorboat cruise dock across from the entrance to Matterhorn that has the pretzel bread with the cheese and the bratwurst. Delicious.
Oh, look, a hummingbird.
I'm just enjoying this spot. We have a hummingbird friend that's down here watching the live. Beautiful lagoon. Lots of gorgeous flowers blooming all around the resort right now. Kind of the last gasp of enjoying everything before the heat of summer. It's a great time to visit. And while today is absolutely packed to the gills, the rest of the month has availability for the pass holders that are not blocked. So if you are a pass holder, you should be able to, if you book at least a few days in advance, you should be able to get just about any day you want except July 17th.
Yep, it looks like every other day is pretty much open, including this weekend.
And why July 17th?
Because it is
Disneyland's 70th anniversary. Lots of new things starting that day, so people want to come and see the new Walt Disney animatronic, the new Sherman Brothers song in Small World, the new Sherman Brothers tribute inside the motion picture house, the cinema on Main Street.
I'm a little anxious to see that one.
Yep. A lot of that is lower capacity with the exception of Small World, which has Lightning Lane and a huge capacity, so you'd probably be able to see that one if you want to. Very low capacity for the Walt show, so even though it's a large theater, it won't show all that often. 3 or 4 times an hour likely, and so not enormous capacity. Probably for the first time in decades there will be a queue.
This is the first time I've ever seen both Louisa and...
We saw both of them last week at the same time as well, so maybe for summer they have Louisa and Mirabelle at the same time. I'll zoom in. There they are, Louisa and Mirabelle. Love seeing characters from Encanto in the parks. I think an Encanto ride would fit, a California Adventure, even Disneyland. It's a charming attraction, movie with great music.
Music that I've heard from multiple people is sometimes very emotion grabbing.
It is. Luis, I think, has a song about being under pressure, and it's a song that resonates with a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of in the way Elsa's Let It Go resonated with a lot of people. We have something to see here, something I'm happy about. Last week we lamented the fact they had a printed sign in front of Golden Horseshoe, but the sign is returned, and we'll walk up close so you can see the sun glinting on the gold. Mike, this solid gold sign, can you imagine what the street value of this sign must be?
Oh my gosh. High value item.
Look how shiny that is.
It's pretty.
Really nice. And there's little rubies in the sign as well. So like, look at the H, for example, and see the 2 rubies there in the center of the H and on the O and the R.
Do you know what would complete this, Dusty? Shows inside the theater.
Mike, You asked too much.
I'm so sorry.
You asked too much for Disneyland to have a beautiful theater and put on a show.
I'm so sorry. I should be
What a
ashamed.
horrible fan you are. How
Oh, in the theater.
you MiceChat people, all you ever do is complain, expecting Disney to put shows in the theaters that Walt Disney built for shows.
I'm sorry.
We jest because every time we complain that Disneyland isn't quite living up to its expectations, the Disney defenders come rushing out to say, if you don't like the way they're running the park, don't go. But do you think Walt Disney, if he came back from the dead right now, would Walt Disney walk through the park and say, oh good, they finally got rid of that show at the Golden Horseshoe and they're leaving it empty, exactly like I wanted it.
Well, let's see here. Talking about a man who had a light bulb painted half red and half white.
That's right, on Main Street, just to have it be symmetrical.
I somehow doubt he would be okay.
We're walking into a hornet's nest up here. Look at all the people. So finally we have found the crowds.
Yes. And the crowds here, I think this is about even from what it was earlier.
Half,
About
Yeah.
half.
yeah. Because we could barely walk through right here earlier.
Yeah, you're right.
As we walk towards Pirates, you'll see that the line is queued up well into the land, but earlier it stretched all the way to Haunted Mansion.
Maybe people have gone back to their hotel room.
For a little break before dinner,
Before
heading
during the
back.
parade.
maybe.
And
Because right now the fireworks are 7 days a week.
That is correct. Tonight there will be Paint the Night Parade, fireworks, and Phantasmic.
Fantastic.
A journey beyond your wildest imagination, Mike.
Used to be.
Speaking of, I see some guys working up there. Working on the river, getting ready for Phantasmic. Fireworks barge comes through and loads fireworks on the sunken barges. They come up here in a little bit and they put fireworks into them. The towers are coming up right now. In fact, you can see the towers popping up as we speak.
I will say I'm still bitter that there's not a real fire-breathing dragon like there is. Well, not really. You know.
Mike, should we show them?
We should.
I think we should
I'm
show
kind of
them.
heading that direction.
I mean, it's going to be hard to get there because of this queue, but
Maybe.
we'll figure it out.
We will figure it out.
Oh, we're going to figure it out.
Maybe we have to push through ropes and
We can't push through ropes.
say, excuse
I can't limbo lower now.
Oh,
How low can I go? Not very low.
not that low.
I moved recently in Palm Springs in 100+ degree heat and threw my back out. So if I'm pretty good walking around, but if I bend down, I shan't get up again. Nice to be in the shade of these trees.
It is.
Love this.
I'm glad they didn't replace these trees.
I am so glad that there are spots in the park that still have a little bit of shade. I wish there were more areas like this in theme parks.
I do too.
Theme parks in general.
You know what I wish had more parks like this? California Adventure.
Uh-huh, and the new Epic Universe.
Oh, God.
Sorry, doing a little art photography for you there.
I want to say hello to my cousin Nikki.
You want to say hi? You want to do a shout
A
out?
shout out to my cousin Nikki.
Is she watching this
She
video?
is watching this video, and she's coming to her very first MiceChat trip in October.
She's going to come with us.
Yeah, she's gonna come with us. She's
Oh my
so
gosh,
excited about it.
that's fantastic. John Ross, today is his 36th birthday. Happy birthday, John.
Rihanna just sent me a message that said, all the Florida parks need more shade.
Well, yeah, and everybody should get a neck fan when they arrive.
Right.
Should just be included with the cost of admission. We sometimes have some trouble with our coverage back here in New Orleans Square, so if you start to lose us, scream real loud and we'll back out.
We want to be able to hear you from here.
But it is possible where we're taking you, you may lose us, but I love it back here. It's rare that we spend much time in here, but you see all those people over there on that bridge, queued up back and forth and back and forth. In the not too distant future, I believe you will be walking into Pirates under this bridge. You'll be queued up in the little garden down here that I will show you. You'll be queued up in the garden down here, back and forth and back and forth. When you get up to the top of this bridge, you'll go underneath those stairs where you'll queue a little bit more. You'll go back and forth out here underneath the eaves of what used to be the Haunted Mansion shop over here, the Port Royal. You go back and forth there a couple times, go inside, where you'll go back and forth in this new jazz club themed area. And then you will exit out here, where you'll go back into the main queue area and enter the ride. So you would not need to queue up out there in the middle of the land. We had to walk all the way around to get you where we are right now. Not easy, but we think that's going to be the next big queue redo now that they finished the one at Haunted Mansion. Most of the elements are in place for them to try that out at some point, and we may see some testing of that soon. This is a neat little area.
Yes.
This is the Royal Courtyard, 21 Royal. If Andy Castro is watching, this is one of his favorite spots at Disneyland. There's a neat little interactive game. You can, if you do the Play Disney app, you can talk to Red here, but you could also put a quarter in and Red moves his hands around and tells your fortune. Fortune Red, the pirate. So this is Royal Courtyard. And there's a few little items of merchandise that you can buy here, including, Mike,
Yes.
a Phantasmic shirt. What does that Phantasmic shirt feature?
The fire-breathing dragon.
A fire-breathing dragon. Mike, would you tell me, these ears, what do they feature?
Maleficent, the fire-breathing dragon.
Mike, what is this shirt that's down here? It says
look.
Phantasmic in color. And what does it feature?
Fire-breathing dragon.
A fire-breathing dragon. So, by all accounts, Disney's Phantasmic merchandise pays homage to the fact that people expect to see,
A fire-breathing dragon.
but when you watch the show, what do you never see?
A fire-breathing dragon.
A fire-breathing dragon.
And I am very curious about
Yeah.
that.
So they've had that merchandise since before the show lost its dragon. When it came back, they did not come back with new merchandise that featured
Maleficent on a stick.
a steamboat filled with characters with flags, or Maleficent on a stick.
You know what? They should just add flames around a burning dragon.
I want the...
Or they could do what you do when you change prices at a restaurant that's too cheap to change their menus, and just put a sticker over the dragon and say, sorry folks, dragon
Yeah.
burned up.
I want to pair... I want to set a Maleficent ear, or instead of ear, Mickey Mouse ear, with Maleficent on a stick on the top.
I think they should just embroider flames onto the dragon and it's burning.
Amber
yes.
says that the Phantasmic merch is great. It is. Wouldn't it be great if the whole show looked as good as the merchandise?
It would be wonderful.
It would be wonderful. You see this tower here is down right now. At some point, the middle tower goes back down to the ground, and a tech gets onto that tower and gets lifted back up again. So the towers have great usefulness. They're sort of like elevators. They go all the way underground and telescope all the way up. The same way that the Maleficent works on the stage, she's essentially an elevator lift.
You know, I saw Phantasmic when it first debuted, and I thought it was the most incredible show I'd ever seen.
So when it first...
It, in many ways, is one of the most incredible shows ever. What does the wait time look like for Haunted Mansion? Is that, say, 30 minutes? Not terrible. As it gets darker, that wait time will go up. Best time to ride Haunted Mansion is at night.
I was so impressed with Phantasmic that after the first show ended, we all ran up and just sat at the front and waited till the next one.
Watched it again.
Yeah. We spent hours just sitting there waiting for it.
The summer Phantasmic came out. I think I saw 90% of the shows that whole summer. I loved it that much. Let's do a little bridge walk through. It's a hot day. Let's get out of the sun through the little side paths. One of my favorite things about Disneyland are the little nooks and crannies. Mike, years ago, not that long ago, this roof used to have plants on it.
It did.
Just like raised berets. And when I take you over to raised berets, Mike,
Am I going to cry?
you're not going to be happy.
It can't be much worse. You know what? I won't say. I should learn to say, not say. It can't be.
It can be worse. Mike used to work in maintenance. So anytime he sees poor maintenance in the park, he cringes. He can't stand it because he knows how it used to be when the managers would start yelling and screaming because things weren't operating properly.
It just crushes my no.
A lot of trees have been removed here, Mike. This used to be a lot more shaded than it is now.
Where did all my shade go?
I know, right? A lot of trees have been removed from over here. The thing about trees, though, is they age and they become less safe as they get older.
But they topped these.
You are now walking over Tiana's Bayou Adventure, the ride with a 110-minute wait. Hot day, water ride, they go together like shoo-bop, shoo-bop, shawala walla bing bang. Even right here, Mike, there used to be a tree or something right here, and now it's all completely unshaded, but it looks good. I mean, it's great for our view. We had thought about getting on a water ride at the beginning of this video, but it's very hard on the camera and I can't use the stabilizer, so we ultimately decided against it and thought, well, if the opportunity should arise, we would hop on an attraction later in the video, but it's so crowded, I don't know that that's going to happen. These little fruit stands, I always used to wonder, why do they have them? Do they make any money?
I'm sure they do. I don't.
On a hot day like this, people are probably buying waters and Powerades left and right. Okay, Mike, first signs of trouble.
Oh.
The backside of the new shop in Critter Country, Raised Berets.
That looks horrible.
Whole rooftop has died on Raised Berets. It's one of the reasons I mentioned the formerly planted roof over at Harbor Galley, because now Raised Berets also.
Okay, I'm developing a theory here.
I think they killed it off on purpose so they could get rid of the planted roof?
So they can rip it off and put fake stuff up there now.
Yeah.
That's the only thing.
So in its previous incarnation, when this was still Splash Mountain territory, they had ferns up there.
They did.
The ferns stayed alive. Months after all of this went behind construction walls and they turned off the water, those ferns would not die.
Right.
They were very hardy. I think they should just put ferns back. I think they're appropriate for a bayou. We know they work. They should put ferns up there instead of grass, because look at that dead rooftop. Does not look great.
And it's just, it's less acceptable, especially that I can see the sprinklers up there.
Yeah.
Oh wow, look how busy Bayou Country is.
Bayou Country is packed because everybody wants on this water ride.
Oh, but you know what? The wait time has gone down just a touch. It's still long.
Well, it was almost 2 hours earlier.
It's still an hour and a half.
And it was by far the longest wait in the park, even longer than Rise of the Resistance. I'm sure that makes the park operators happy, because they spent a lot of money and time to transform Splash Mountain into Tiana's Bayou Adventure. And although the ride opened with mixed reviews, I think they're fairly happy with how the ride turned out. Kids seem to love it. Much larger audience now than it used to have, so younger kids will ride Tiana's. Yeah, so it's good. I mean, I can't say that it's better than Splash Mountain, because I loved Splash Mountain.
I do too.
But I think overall they're fairly happy with the ride, but the wait times have not been great. Of course, they also opened it in the middle of winter.
Yes, they did.
They opened it at Thanksgiving time and operated it through the colder months of the year.
Now, one of the bigger complaints that I have heard about this attraction since they've reopened it, I'm kind of wondering if it's what's keeping people away, or had been keeping people away, is you get way more wet.
Drenched.
Yeah. I mean,
we rode it one day on the live, and
tidal waves.
We got off. I had to walk for the hour after with squishy feet and completely covered, and it was not comfortable.
Yeah.
I avoid that ride simply because I don't want to get soaked.
Right.
It used to be on Splash Mountain, it looked like you were going to get soaked, but you really just kind of got splashed a little bit.
And you could stay back, like you could request to sit in the back seat, and usually you'd be okay.
You still don't get as wet in the back seat. If you're lucky, if you have the heaviest person in the log in the back, you get less wet than if you have the heaviest person in the front.
I think we learned that if you're only riding two to a log, both people need to be in the middle.
Yeah.
I sat in the front last time, and
I made you sit in the front, Eric, and I'm so sorry.
I went on it a second time recently, and I forgot how wet you get.
Oh my God.
And I sat in the front, and the first tidal wave just came over the front of the log, and it looked like I went swimming.
I think I remember saying, Eric, would you like to sit in the front so you get the best view?
Yeah.
And you said, yes, I want to sit in the front.
And I forgot, and when I got off of the ride, the woman that was next in my log was wearing a wool coat, and I said to her, you are going to be this wet when you finish this ride. You might want to do something with that coat. And she didn't. She looked scared and didn't do anything. And I was like,
Well, there wasn't much time for her to do something
Yeah.
before that log takes off.
and it was a nice coat too.
Well, it was. It was.
oh,
When she got off the ride, the coat was the size of a postage stamp.
That coat is now going to be covered in Tiana water.
Well, you know, I think Tiana water is better than Jungle Cruise water.
Well, yeah, definitely.
It's, at least the Tiana water goes through a filter. It has some chlorine in it.
Water, they just dump a bunch of stuff.
Oh my gosh, it's gross. It's on the same dark water system Jungle Cruise is as the rivers of America and the Castle Moat. And the ducks and geese poop in that water. And at this time of year, a lot of the water looks really disgusting with like weird bubbles and algae and stuff.
Fermenting.
It is duck and goose poop that is fermenting in the sun, and they don't really filter that water, so it's just disgusting.
Every once in a while, though,
Don't drink the water.
you will see Jungle Cruise water red.
Yeah, because they do dump stuff in it
They
to
have to dump a bunch of chemicals in it to
yeah,
to where
get the bacteria level lower. But this is one reason why I won't do the canoes in summer.
Right.
Not only do you get hot from rowing all the way around the river, but there's always some kid in front of you, their oar splashing water in your face, and you do not want that water in your face.
You might be better off swimming at Seal Beach.
Or in a vat of acid. We're walking aimlessly, folks, through Galaxy's Edge. I told Mike and Eric earlier, I said, don't worry, boys, we're not going through Galaxy's Edge, but if you take the route we took, you either have to turn around and go back the way you came, which is no fun on a video, or you just keep walking through Galaxy's Edge. Nothing new to see back here in the summer. There's no summer celebration. They're not celebrating the 70th anniversary of Disneyland at Galaxy's Edge.
I think Galaxy's Edge gets a bad rap. I like it.
Well, Eric, you are correct. It gets a bad rap from me, but you love it here.
I love it here. I think it's really cool. I like how all of the cast members are dressed individually, but in the same sort of thing. So it feels to me like you're really like in another world, and these are people that just live here and
So you're
work
saying
here.
because they don't wear the exact same costumes, there's something different, like a different element about each.
Yeah,
costume.
I feel like they're actual citizens
Here's
wandering around here.
Here's
and
why
I'm
I
in their
give
store.
this land a bad rap, Eric. I agree with you. There's some amazing things here. I do like the costumes. I love these buildings. I like some of the food. I love Rise of the Resistance. I love the Millennium Falcon. I like that on our right in just a second we're going to see Luke's light speeder. I love that stuff. I love it when the droids are rolling around or we see Rey or Chewbacca. That's all super cool. But what I don't love is that as I'm walking through this land right now, I'm not hearing the beautiful John Williams music. I hate it. There's no entertainment whatsoever. There's a stage right here in front of us, Eric, up there. That stage was built for a stunt show. That does not happen because the budget was cut before the land opened. And this giant land, we walked through a park that was absolutely packed. I would like to take a scan here and show you the smattering of people that are in this land. Why is that?
I like the food in Galaxy's Edge.
Food's pretty good. I mean, there's one real restaurant and there's a quick, thing with Ronto's Roasters, but there's all this space and a lot of these buildings are empty. And that bothers me. So I think that Galaxy's Edge needs a new team of Imagineers to come in and add something. Like this giant area up here would be perfect for a spinner ride.
You're not mad, you're just disappointed.
I just feel there's a missed opportunity.
Yes.
To make this land, it takes up a tremendous amount of space. We walk through tight lands like Fantasyland where the rides are one next to another, but here in Galaxy's Edge, you walk and walk and walk and walk and walk between attractions. some
There are lots of
stormtroopers
missed
there, but there
opportunities.
are still fun things here, and I do come back here. We've got Kylo Ren and the stormtroopers. When there are new Star Wars movies on Disney Plus or in the theaters, they generally add a new character to the land. But
And
see
right
this
at the
junk pile
resistance.
right here, Eric? This makes me think of an idea for an attraction that would be perfect. They could carve it out back here, a Dumbo-ish type ride where each of the vehicles is like an old wrecked ship, and the citizens of this little village have pieced together the parts, and it looks like there's an animal or a droid turning a mechanism which makes it spin around, and the kids can ride this ride. Like, there needs to be more kinetic energy in this land. There need to be more attractions. There needs to be something for kids. And wouldn't it be great if they went ahead and built that bantha ride, which is sort of like a people mover where giant banthas are pulling carts throughout a raised portion of the land. In fact, that stage that I showed you was originally supposed to be a loading platform for that bantha ride, and then later was going to be a stage, and is sometimes used as a stage. Characters go up there and stand.
I would love to see an AT-AT water.
Yes, that would be.
Are they AT-ATs or AT-ATs?
I think at. But
When I was a kid, I always called it an AT-AT, but I don't know. What are they?
even if just like a foot came through once in a while.
Just a foot?
Yeah.
Just a foot. Eric would be happy with just a foot.
Yeah. Just a foot.
Why build the whole thing when you can build just a foot?
Just a foot.
I love this wagon track over here. See the horse up there, Mike?
Oh yeah, beautiful.
And you'll see they went through the trouble of kind of putting ruts in the path here, so you can see that wagons went up this trail, and it's kind of dirt in between because the earth is packed on the sides where the wagon wheels were. Of course, it's all fake. You also see there's a drainage circle right there for a sewer system or something.
Where?
But it looks great, right?
Yeah, it does.
That horse is actually looking down on Rivers of America there. That's how close we are to the river.
Wow.
Ooh, frozen lemonade sound.
Doesn't that sound good? They could just give it to me intravenously at this point.
For a Mickey bar.
Water looks a little better here. Last week, took pictures of how disgusting this lagoon got. They probably skimmed the top of it, but it was absolutely gross. Oh, you can see
an
up
algae
here, right here on the edge here, see all the algae pushed to the side. What they really need in this lagoon is more aeration. Of course, a fountain here probably isn't appropriate, but if they had another little waterfall off to the side somewhere moving water around, it'd be better.
Well, part of the problem is that this waterfall was down for so long.
Yeah. It's working now.
It is working now.
It looks like you can walk on this algae.
Yeah, with a lot of algae. Railroad's going right by one of my favorite little spots on the new Big Thunder Trail. That platform up there is a mail platform, so in the Wild West, trains wouldn't even stop. There'd be somebody responsible for hooking a mail crate.
Where's the female platform then?
It's only a male one, Mike.
Okay.
Back in the Wild West, there were no female platforms. Brilliant design on, because of its gorgeous design that looks like a river bed. Maybe water had washed out underneath and carved this channel. Set up there.
A dynamite plunger.
And directly behind it,
Dynamite? Oh,
goat
my.
trick is right over here in this area too. Our favorite goat with the dynamite, just over here. Dynamite. Dynamite.
Wow, look at all these people.
Okay.
But there weren't this many people in the land.
This is where all the crowds are. They all.
They're just walking on this pathway.
We found them.
Yeah. There they are.
There were a few more things to do back there in Galaxy's Edge. You could help spread people out a little better throughout the park.
Or maybe if they had some shows.
Exactly. Some entertainment would be great. Some small attraction. I do think some of those buildings could temporarily be used as character meet and greets.
Mm-hmm.
And they could just play it off that you know, the image of Darth Vader, a hologram, is been created to interact with people, and you could see Darth Vader.
There's not enough content in the Star Wars universe.
You're
for them to
correct.
Put together a show.
There's just
nothing.
There's just nothing.
That is nothing. Not
There
even
haven't
characters.
been enough.
Hardly any characters.
Haven't been enough movies and
No,
television
or
shows
television. There's
to be
nothing.
able to justify
Why
it.
would you put a show together? There's nothing there.
Could you imagine if they did something like with one of the most action-packed series ever, Andor?
Ever.
Uh-huh.
Brought something like that in.
Have you been watching the second season of Andor? Oh, look at that. We have our friend. How are you? Good. Are you enjoying your day? I love that shirt. All right, off we go. It's really pretty at this time of year, and in spite of the crowds. The trees are all green. There's so many beautiful flowers. Southern California is really amazing.
This is what Southern California is known for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Roses are blooming, gorgeous flower beds. And we don't have the Florida heat. I mean, it gets hot here, but it's not swampy like
90%
Florida.
humidity.
Exactly. And
There's a really nice breeze too.
right now it's
Yeah.
gorgeous.
See, it's funny because I've only been to Florida once.
Oh, wait, that's
when I
my
went,
next-
it was the winter time. So I haven't really experienced true Florida, I don't think.
I've been in Florida and it's
I mean, I spent time in South Texas, but Florida really.
We spent Eric's birthday in Florida. It was hot.
it was pretty hot. And it was still May.
May.
It was
Imagine being there in August.
I'll go back in December.
It's a great time to go. Good time to go would be October with the MiceChat crew at the end of
Yeah.
end of October. Weather really moderates. That's why we go then. But we also go then because it gets crazy for Christmas out there, and I hate missing all the Halloween stuff. So the scary stuff at Universal, which is really fun.
That's what
And we're going to do front of line for their Halloween Horror Nights in Orlando. But we are also going to use a sort of VIP service at Epic Universe to ride all of those new rides.
including Harry Potter. which you
Including
can't get
Harry
an
Potter.
express pass,
Nope,
right?
you need to have a
VIP.
VIP tour guide, and there are a number of different options for that. We're doing one of them, so we'll be able to ride all those rides that you can't use express for.
And the Harry Potter ride had a 300-minute wait time.
It did. People were waiting 5 hours, and then the ride was breaking down. So definitely not worth getting in that long queue. But although it's a great ride,
That's why you have to come out to the MiceChat.
come to the MiceChat trip. And then after we're done at Universal, we'll go over to Disney World and do all the fun there. We do Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, the opposite of Universal's event. And my favorite, I love the Food and Wine Festival, and we sip and nibble our way around the World Showcase.
I'm already planning my outfit.
You're Eric said he's already planning his outfits.
That trip in October sounds like it's going to be wonderful.
Mike, I miss the fountains.
Yes.
I'm not going to dwell on it because people were hating on me, saying, yeah, Dusty thinks
Dwell
that,
away,
oh,
Dusty."
he's dwelling on those fountains, but they looked great.
They did, especially when they were lit up at night.
Walking into a sea of people from here, it looks like all the way through the hub and probably down Main Street. Mike, I'm feeling a pull, a gravitational pull. I don't know towards what, but it's pulling me towards Main Street. It's telling me, what is it saying? I'm hungry.
You're hungry.
I'm hungry. What is this thing that's so hungry? Should we walk by Walt and Mickey?
We should. Yeah, I'm hungry now. Thanks.
Get back into a little patch of shade. The balloons have all changed up for the 70th anniversary, so you may notice that throughout the parks, a little more consistent balloon design. It's the round, clear outer shell with the Mickey on the inside, and the pattern is the 70 pattern. All those beautiful 70th colors. I really like the 70th campaign.
I do too. I like those balloons.
Merchandise, a lot of it is really cute. I got a 70th fanny pack, which I really liked, but the minute I got home, a certain little gremlin stole it from me. I don't know how that happened.
I needed to carry stuff.
You had some things you needed to carry?
Immediately.
Mike, I feel this pull. I can barely breathe. What is it? It's like something has grabbed me by the heart and it's pulling me down Main Street.
I don't think it's
Feed me, it says. Feed me.
I don't think it's the popcorn though.
No? Here's some of those balloons we were talking about. Right?
Now, you know what these...
Some of them have the, like, Elsa diamond shape, and then some
This
have the
reminds me of
bigger
60th
characters.
almost.
It does, actually. The colors are similar.
The diamond shape.
But this is so pretty.
It is. I like it.
I'm entranced, but this is not where we're supposed to go. Oh, no. No, Mike. I know where we need to go.
Oh.
I know
Must we
whom
visit
we
them?
need to feed.
That's what's pulling us.
Oh, my children, my beautiful, beautiful children. Eric, the children would like to have you to a barbecue.
Oh my God.
They look forward to serving you.
Oh my God. I feel like somebody should be clinking a teacup. Oh my God.
There they are. Look at those dead stares in their eyes. They're beautiful. They're resplendent in their patriotic attire.
Oh my God.
Won't you come to the barbecue? Sorry, I had to, folks. Some of you love the Children of the Corn. Some of you hate them. But I can't help myself. And I know we did stop by last week with Ando, but the video was cut short on Facebook. The video died on Facebook, and we ended up only being on YouTube. So I had to pay homage to our children. We take such good care of them. We really keep an eye out for them, don't we, Mike?
We're Children of the Corn advocates.
We are their advocates. We are their guardians, if you will,
Guardians of the children.
of the corn.
We don't need a galaxy.
No. What if they just turned all of Galaxy's Edge into a Children of the Corn land?
Oh my gosh, I know a few people who would absolutely just be terrified.
Lots of news right now on MiceChat about all sorts of things. There's a link to an event that I'm hosting at Knott's Berry Farm with Fantasy Fun Wheel and Imagineer Chris Merritt and theme park historian Eric Linksweiler in benefit of the Garner Holt Foundation. And that event is a celebration of the 50th anniversary of Rolly Crump's creative masterpiece, Knott's Berry Tales. Now, Mike, do you remember ever seeing it? Are you too young to remember that ride?
No, I'm not. I do remember it. And it was entertainingly odd.
Very odd. It's like an acid trip.
Yes.
And what we have planned is an event that includes your theme park admission to Knott's Berry Farm.
Ooh.
Early entry will be entering about 2 hours before the park opens. We will walk the tracks of the original attraction with the original designers that are still alive for that attraction. We will then move to the new Mrs. Murphy's Steakhouse, which is the old Knott's Ghost Town Steakhouse. And we'll have a buffet there of all the delicious Knott's stuff. There'll be an audio-visual presentation, which includes, I believe, the only known complete ride-through of the original Berry Tales attraction. And then we're flying people in from all over the country that worked with Rolly Crump to build the ride, including his son, Chris Crump, who helped design and build the attraction. And there will be a panel discussion of nearly, I think, 10 people, plus Chris Merritt and Eric Linksweiler. You're going to just absolutely love this event. So from about 8 o'clock in the morning till 2 p.m., including your buffet and your park admission and the walkthrough and all the stuff, and a special gift for every guest. The VIP tickets are already sold out, but we have some general admission left, and I'm only telling you now because you do not want to miss this event. visit the front page of MiceChat.com, and you can either click on events at the top and then on to the Berry Tales event link, or scroll down just a tiny bit and we have a banner for the Knott's Berry Tale event. But either way, visit MiceChat.com and you'll find a link for the event. Buy your tickets today. I already have a long list of people who are kicking themselves for not jumping on the VIP tickets sooner. But I'm telling you, everyone's a VIP at this event. We even have a gift bag for the general admission guests. And it is definitely something you are going to want.
Yeah, it sounds like it's a great event. But then again, I don't know that you're not put on a great event.
Thank you for saying that. It's definitely not true. Put on a few events that didn't go quite as planned, but we've done some spectacular events over the years. We've had Dick Van Dyke and Marty Sklar and Tony Baxter and all sorts of Disney authors and Imagineers. And I remember an incredible event that we did about Disneyland Paris with the original designers that helped design the park. We've just done some spectacular things over the years, but this one is very special because all of those people who helped design the Berry Tales ride, they just were never celebrated. They never got to do an event talking about their stories or working with Rolly Crump, the incredible Imagineer who helped design the Haunted Mansion and Small World with Mary Blair. So many incredible stories about Rolly Crump that you're going to hear from these people who have never been assembled together before. And probably this is the only time it will ever happen. So I'm just really excited about it. We're walking into the Esplanade. We're going to go into extra innings for just a few more minutes. We're not going to go into California Adventure, but we are going to look at a project that has caused a chain reaction of sorts. And as we go through, you may note we're hearing the Soarin' music right now, Mike, and not sleepy bedtime music.
I thought I wasn't feeling sleepy for some reason.
But that first week they were playing sleepy music box music around here because that giant thing is apparently a music box. And we were sort of horrified by it because this is a celebration, 70th anniversary. It's not for sleeping. And so they finally replaced the musical soundtrack in the Esplanade with music you may know. Some of it from the 70th anniversary, some of it theme park music, some of it from Disney animated movies that you can sing along to. It's a much more upbeat musical soundtrack.
I think the music box thing just missed the mark. I think it
was well intentioned.
Somewhere, yeah, absolutely. I think somewhere else, smaller, not in the middle of the Esplanade, might have been cool, but.
Or, you know, they switched initially. They said they would play the music box music after the fireworks as a kiss goodnight, and I think they did that for a couple of days, and then they just started leaving it as the regular music, I believe.
Were they putting people to sleep while they were walking to their cars?
I think a lot of people were not happy with that music, including the park operators. The front gate cast hated it. Like, we were walking up on Earl a Sandwich, which used to be La Brea Bakery. Mm-hmm. La Brea Bakery essentially went out of business, and yeah, I think you could still get their stuff in some airports, but their shops all shut down all over the city, including here. Earl a Sandwich moved into this spot because they were being kicked out of their old spot where the AMC Theater was torn down. And they've been operating here ever since. Very popular location because it's right next to the front gate. They also added, for the first time ever, a table service sit-down area over here. They also have a little pizza oven area that I don't think they operate anymore, but they've announced that finally they're closing this location to build a Porto's.
Yes.
So Porto's will go in here, and it's a complete rebuild. So this building will be torn down. Demolition permits have already been filed.
Have we seen demolition permits for the ticket booth?
Yes. So there were demolition permits along with the destruction of this Earl of Sandwich. These two booths that are closest to Earl will also be torn down. We believe that's to accommodate guest flow because obviously this is a tight spot. Just look at how tight it is. right now. At the end of the night, when everybody's dumped out of the park and they're trying to get onto the trams, which are right over here, this area becomes super congested, and they're going to tear this down. Well, that's going to mean that the construction walls need to be pretty close to where you walk now. They will probably be walking people up and through part of the tram load area, so I'm going to guess they're going to load and unload people from the opposite side of the tram load, closer to the Indy building.
Why can't I imagine them ripping this out?
And I do think that some of this will have to go, including this fountain, just to accommodate guest flow, and also because it doesn't fit the new theme of Downtown Disney. Once this building gets built, it will be in the new style, and then they're going to want to get rid of this old style floral stuff that was throughout Downtown Disney. I liked that floral stuff, but it's already going, right? So it doesn't make sense anymore. So that will likely go away. So what happens here? They are going to temporarily be only available if you want a sandwich at this cart that they have across from the old ESPN, which is itself under construction. They're putting in a Lululemon and a Funko in that location, but a permanent Earl of Sandwich is well under construction now. It's being enclosed as we speak. It will have a sit-down restaurant and bar upstairs and the classic sandwich shop downstairs. So lots of things in play in Downtown Disney right now, and we haven't even mentioned what's happening at the old Tortilla Joe's, which is getting a steakhouse and a barbecue. And I always like a barbecue, so I'm looking forward to seeing what happens there.
We're looking at having two different bars, literally right next to each other, because you're going to have the Parkside Market, right?
Yes.
So the bar upstairs. You're going to have the tavern for Earl of Sandwich.
Yes.
How do you think it's going to affect, like, competitiveness? Do you think it's going to affect anything if you're going to be
Well, I'm going to throw another wrench into that, because the new steakhouse is also a bourbon bar.
Yeah.
So they're going to have another bar there, which is also steps away. If you go to Parkside Market now and their beautiful Vista Lounge upstairs, it's almost never busy.
Right.
They haven't even built the competitors yet. So I do think there's going to be some problem. Here's why I think it's a problem. I think there are plenty of guests.
Yeah.
I think the problem is price. And everything, like you go to that beautiful Parkside Market, the food is great. I love the view. The staff is awesome. But what's the problem?
It costs too much. I mean, when you go
It's
in
quick
there,
serve, and it costs as much as a sit-down restaurant.
When you go in and buy like a beef bowl, and then you get the pot stickers, and then you get a drink on top of that, just 3 items, and you're already $60 in.
Yes. Yes. There have been many times, Mike, we've come here, we're starving, we go in there and eat, and then the bill comes and I pay it, and I think, we were just here today to write an article, and we've spent more money on this one meal than that article will make.
Right.
And I'm going to go broke covering Disneyland, but it is the way it is.
Inside of Disneyland for $45.
Yeah. Yeah. So prices have just become insane, and not just at Disneyland, but everywhere. Since the pandemic. Every restaurant has raised its costs, and all sorts of issues, with inflation and so forth. But these restaurants have to find a way to have at least a few things on their menu that regular guests can afford. And right now, even if you can scrape together the money to afford a one-day ticket to Disneyland, you may not be able to afford to eat here.
Right.
It's even more expensive to eat inside the park.
And then I just realized you also have, Centrico Bar.
Yes.
And then you also have the, what's the one?
Upstairs at Ballast Point.
Right. And then you have the one upstairs from not Centrico, but the other.
Paseo.
There's
a bar.
There.
Yep. There's a bar here right now, the Tavern. It's a bar inside. There are lots of bars in Downtown Disney, and there are going to be 2 more.
And that's that's where your highest expense is.
Yes. Plus, Disneyland Hotel recently opened the Broken Spell Lounge, and then they have the Palm Breeze Bar. Yep. So 2 bars plus Trader Sam's, and then the outdoor patio at Trader Sam's that sells.
But those are busy.
All the time.
All the time. Because those are actually in the hotels.
Well, and also because they're well themed.
Right.
And I will say that the Broken Spell does much better than the Palm Breeze. Generic theme for the Palm Breeze, but a nice, Sleeping Beauty theme for the Broken Spell. And of course, incredible theming at Trader Sam's, and people are willing to pay a little extra. But it also has a tremendously expensive menu. And so I don't go there just because I really can't afford to go there.
Yeah. I
would go there. I just think that there needs to be a variety of prices at the resort right now. So that is how we're ending today's update. I'm going to turn this around. And I'd really like to thank both Mike and Eric for joining me today as we walk through the park. We will get you on a ride maybe next week, I promise. Fell through this week. I had hoped maybe we would make it over to California Adventure and we would jump on Grizzly at the end, but then Mike mentioned getting soaked, and I don't need soaked underwear on my way back to Palm Springs. So we love you folks out there. Please check out MiceChat.com for more information on our Berry Tales event. Talk to Teresa at Fairy Godmother Travel about 2 upcoming MiceChat trips, one to Orlando in October, and then in February, we're going on Disney's newest cruise ship, which is adventure themed with Marvel characters and villains, and you are not going to want to miss the Destiny. So folks, please contact Teresa at fairygodmothertravel.com. She'll fill you in on all of our MiceChat adventures coming up soon, and that beautiful Berry Tales event, unmissable. Get your tickets right now, MiceChat.com. Thank you for joining us, everybody. We will see you again real soon. Bye-bye. Oh no, I'm